So 2 days ago, I had my very last parents' evening, also known as parent-teacher conference. Now, parents' evening is essentially a routine thing, and you get it done. I say you get it done as if it's a procedure. It kind of is, because it's basically yearly. Actually, it's probably more than yearly if you think about it. You probably, if you're a parent, you probably end up seeing your kids' teachers probably 2 or 3 times a year, having this conversation, and you end up asking, how good has my child been? What is their progress? What do they need to work on? How can I help them? Etc, etc. For me, it's typically kind of always been the same. There's been very, very little difference between them. Now, in primary school, which is elementary school for you Americans, in elementary school, primary school, the only negative comment that I really got was the fact that I was quite chatty. I was quite talkative. I used to hum a lot, and apparently that was really annoying, which I get. And that was really it. Other than that, I was pretty okay. I would do the work to a standard in which the teachers were happy with. I would answer teachers' questions when necessary. The only real negative, as I said, was that I basically kept talking when I wasn't meant to. However, that did change. I feel as I've gotten older, I've started to kind of lose my chattiness, at least in school. I feel from the start of secondary school up to now, in comparison to primary school, I'm a whole lot less chatty for reasons I don't really know. When it comes to secondary school parents' evenings, for me, again, they've always kind of been the same. My behavior has always been fine. There's no issues in class, anything like that. I do homework, I do the classwork, I still answer questions when needed. I sometimes still put my hand up in class to answer questions or ask questions when needed as well. And that's really it. What I will say, though, is that my mum, sometimes she's a bit skeptical, purely on the basis of the fact that in her eyes, she thinks the teachers aren't necessarily telling the truth. Because, if you're a teacher, would you really tell the parents of the student who's in your class that they've just been a brat? Obviously, you won't call the child a brat, but, what is the way that they word it if you're, a really bad student? I have no idea. I'd imagine it would still be quite a structured kind of a comment. It would be really thought out and planned out so that it's not as cutthroat as it could be. And that's something my mum specifically isn't necessarily on board with. I feel my mum's Asian, and so she's very much used to blunt comments, and so I feel she misses that just partially, especially with these type of things. Also, as you get older, parents' evenings become less daunting, because I feel you get to a certain age where it's basically routine at that point, and you just start to care less, because at a certain point during parents' evenings throughout the years, you'll probably feel emotions such as fear that your teacher may talk bad about you, and then the other part of you, as you progress your life, you end up not caring, because you're kind of it's whatever, really. And that's kind of the stage where I'm at now. However, when I went to parents' evening, the most recent one, I felt so much as if I was 12 years old again. For whatever reason, my mind kind of reverted back to my 12-year-old self, which is odd. And I think it's more so about the kind of concept and principle of parents' evenings. It's kind of the only time in which your parents or carers and your teacher kind of come face to face, in secondary school at least, and they start genuinely talking about you. And so you kind of easily revert back to your younger self, because in primary school I feel everyone's just so much closer, because the school itself is smaller, so it's a lot easier to talk to the teachers and all of that. I don't know, that's just my take on things. Will I miss parents' evenings? Absolutely not. I'm so glad that I'm done with them. I will never have to attend one ever again, finally. Thank God for that. But yeah, that's gonna be it from me. This was just, I guess, me and my thoughts. Comment down below what has been the worst comment a teacher has ever said to you, and what has been I guess the nicest. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video.